Hi there, one meteorologist Robert Spetta here with you on today, the 2nd of October 2013. And of course, the main topic out here today is our severe tropical storm Fito, expected to become a typhoon sometime on Wednesday night or possibly going into Thursday. And then, well, for those of you out there in the southern Japanese islands who have been ready for a tropical system all year, this very well could be the one to bring some winds up and over 50 knots and a very high chance, at least at this time, of typhoon strength winds. But a lot could change over the next 72 hours. So today we're going to be breaking down that storm system. But first, I want to talk about our tropical storm Seppan, bringing some breezy conditions along coastal areas there into Japan. Wind sustained about 20 meters per second up to about 30. That seems about right because the Izu Islands out here, just some of these outlying islands off the coast of Honshu, wind gusts today of around 22 meters per second, or rate about 80 kilometers per hour. So, yeah, the storm system not very strong. Breezy conditions near coastal areas. You're seeing some rain showers today. If you're up here along coastal portions of the Kanto Plain, extending out through the Tohoku area, you're probably going to want to have an umbrella ready today, or at least through the morning hours into the early afternoon hours as the storm skirts the coast, bringing with it those breezy conditions. But you can see here out towards Tokyo, I mean, as I look out my window here, the trees are kind of swaying in the breeze, nothing too intense. This system was nothing that we really wanted to worry about. So really, the main topic today, of course, is, well, our severe tropical storm Fito. Now, at this time, the storm does have sustained winds, ranging about 50, gusting up to about 65 knots. So it does have those gusts up to about typhoon strength here as it does track off there towards the north. Expected to really reach max intensity as we go into Friday night by Saturday morning prior to moving across the southern Japanese islands here. And then it should see some slight weakening. But at this time, though, it's still going to be a pretty strong typhoon as it does track off here towards the north. We're looking at winds gusting up to about 100 knots or even higher according to the Japan Meteorological Agency, but that's from JMA on their 10-minute wind scale. JTWC, I know for a lot of the military out here, that's what you're using. They're expecting winds gusting up to about 125 knots. Now, notice they do have their track off the eastern coast of Okinawa, and a lot of the models actually showing that as well, but we have been seeing a general trend with at least the models in the past 12 to 24 hours of them slowly tracking towards the west. So maybe JMA is leaning a little bit more to that. JMA's model is one of those ones that actually take it right over Okinawa. So here with 72 hours out, because I'm making this video update on Wednesday, we're looking at a possible landfall here in the southern Japanese islands by Friday night or possibly into Saturday morning around noontime, because the models also differ, and so do these agencies, on the exact location or exact timing of this. If you noticed, about 00 was where JMA had this position. It was a little bit farther towards the south, so they expected it to move across Okinawa likely around Saturday about noontime. JTWC a little bit faster here. So really basically Saturday is shot for most people out here, and I think that's the high confidence. The exact location of landfall is not certain at this time. If it does move off the eastern seaboard of Okinawa here, just like JTWC is showing here on Wednesday, really the worst of the weather is going to miss the islands. Amani Islands is going to be in the right front quadrant. On the left or on the right side of the storm, where you have that southerly wind, that's the worst of the weather. You're still going to be seeing tropical storm strength winds, and I would expect for those at least out here from the military, they're going to go through the T course even in this type of scenario. But if JMA's exact track falls out here with that center line pushing directly over the center part of the island, then the worst of the winds would be there, and that's where we would see the risk of, well, some damage, at least for lighter objects. Now, the good news as far as Okinawa is concerned, and the southern Japanese islands in general, very well built for a typhoon, so we won't see widespread devastation. As long as people are smart about what they do on Friday and the Saturday, I wouldn't expect any deaths, but we have seen in the past people do venture out, they get too close to coastal areas, they put themselves in dangerous situations instead of just, well, hunkering down and letting the storm pass, and that's where we start to see injuries and casualties come out of. So that's what the agencies are showing at this time. I'm going to show you a couple of the models, at least least the general consensus at this time. Vice, what we were seeing basically all week is most of these storms going just towards the east of Okinawa, and that's at 18Z. Now, I noticed a lot of the newer runs are showing it tracking towards the west. Like I said, there's a general trending. GFN, on the other hand, we do have a couple outliers that are just like shooting off there towards Taiwan. But I really do think that's kind of one of those errors. But let's take a look at GFS from the 0Z run, or actually this is a 12. Let's go up to the 18Z run, and it just moves directly over Okinawa here, and you can see that eye moving right over here. A lot of those military bases on the southern end of the island. You're still going to be seeing, well, these winds coming on shore up to about 70 to 80 knots, very well possible in these darker areas in the purple. Like I said, the northern periphery, this is where the worst of the weather is going to be, on this northern end of the island, the rural end of the island, if this model holds up, which 72 hours out, it's going to waver, and I do want to stress that. So keep that in mind. This is not going to be the exact scenario. If you're watching this possibly here on Friday looking for a last-minute forecast, do please click the annotation on the screen. I'll put it up here for our channel for the most recent updates. This is from the ECMWF model, about 0Z, so we're looking at about 9 a.m. Japan Standard Time, moving across Naha, and in this particular case, it just clips the southern end of the island and puts, well, Naha right in the right front quadrant, a very well-defined eye. You're going to miss the eye, that dome effect, but yeah, that would be a very possible scenario as well. Now remember though, these models are wavering, so if tomorrow we go out here and the high pressure ridge off towards the north becomes stronger, there's this high pressure ridge coming in right up here, then that could buffer it a little bit, and we could see the exact center line actually track down here towards the southwest. Still think tropical storm strength winds very well possible regardless though across Okinawa Honto. If that ridge does weaken, we have actually a troughing coming in and a cold front extending off of that. That could pull a little bit farther towards the northeast. But given the overall outlook as of today, and that's why I'm being a little more confident with this, I don't think that trough is going to be as strong and as intense as we were originally expecting. So it's going to be likely more of a westerly track at first, and then moving through the East China Sea. So impacting somewhere in the southern Japanese islands. As far as Kyushu, Shikoku, earlier this week, we were looking at possibilities of that. I think that's less and less likely as of today. So definitely, if you're in the southern Japanese islands, be ready for this one. I mean, it is October 2nd. It's the peak of typhoon season for Japan. So this is the time of year you want to be ready. Now, this is a NavGen model, and I just want to show this to you because this is not the only model picking up on this. After the storm impacts the southern Japanese islands, let's look ahead till next week. Portions of the Korean Peninsula, North Korea as well, in portions of northeastern China, you could actually get hit by a typhoon here sometime on Sunday going into Monday. Let's compare this up with the GFS model, looking out into the extended range, and yeah, portions of, well, North Korea, northeastern China also get impacted. That could be a very devastating event if that scenario does unfold, especially out there for North Korea, where, yeah, the infrastructure is not too swell to deal with typhoons, unlike the southern Japanese islands of Japan, where you're just used to them. Also, take a look at this in GFS on Monday and the Tuesday. Another system forming up here in northern Mariana Islands, possibly moving across there. A weaker one, but this model has been pretty consistent on that, so something else to keep a very, very close eye on. So yeah, that is all for right now, everybody. I know the storm system's still intensifying today, so we do expect a typhoon here in the near future. With the governmental shutdown, I know a lot of these services as far as broadcasting with the military there, if you are in the southern Japanese islands, have been limited. So here at westernpacificweather.com, we just do this with no pay. So we're going to be here the whole weekend trying to give you some updates and information on this storm system. So as always, stay safe out there, and thanks for watching.